Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts. Here to bring you some high school varsity girls soccer action. And you know it's going to be some good action today, folks, because today's contest pits the visiting Newton North High School Tigers against the hosting Brookline High Warriors. It is always a thrilling time whenever Brookline and Newton North face off in any sport at any level. And I think it's going to be a thriller today. We saw a thriller between these two schools in the boys soccer realm just this past Saturday at the annual Kicks for Cancer event up at Concord Carlisle. We saw the Warrior boys come out with a 3-2 win in what was a back-and-forth blow-for-blow contest with no love lost between two historic rivals. And I think we can expect much the same level of competition here on the girls' side here today. Coming into this contest, the Brookline Warriors holding a 3-2-0 record, 3 wins, 2 losses, 0 draws. Coming off a nice bounce-back 3-2 victory in a thriller against Wellesley on the road last week. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to cover that one. I was covering the girls' JV contest, which ended up being a last-second thriller as well, with Brookline securing a comeback tie in the final seconds. But Newton North coming in with a strong 3-0-2 record. They've had a couple of weather postponements, but they've secured big wins against Boston Latin School, Lincoln Sudbury Regional High School, and the same Wellesley team that Brookline beat last week. Newton North got the victory 2-1 against the Raiders. They beat the Lincoln Sudbury Warriors 2-0, and they beat the Boston Latin Wolfpack by a blowout score of 5-0. Other than that, they have 2 ties. They tied their crosstown rival Newton South 0-0, and they tied Natick 1-1. Of course, Brookline defeated that same Natick team 1-0, but that was in a game that did not get to play to completion due to thunderstorms. Brookline has also had 3-2 wins against, also beat that same Newton South team that Newton North tied with by a thrilling comeback score of 3-2. And then, as I said, they also beat Wellesley 3-2. That makes up Brookline's 3 wins on the season so far. They lost their season opener to Hopkinton 2-1, and then they lost on the road against Needham a little over a week ago, 2-0. So those are the records coming into this one. We've got a slightly delayed start. They are expecting some busing issues for Newton North, but Newton North ended up getting here earlier than Brookline did because, fun fact, Skyline Park is situated in Brookline, but on an address on Newton Street. So in actuality, Skyline Park is closer to Newton North High School than it is to Brookline High School. You know, because of course it is. It's not high school ball if you don't have weirdness like that going on. So with that in mind, as we look at the visiting Tigers in their white jerseys with orange jersey numbers, let's take a look at the rosters for the teams coming in today. And we'll start with the visiting Newton North High Tigers. Going in order of jersey number for Newton North, first off we have a junior number 0, Abby Lannery. Next, a junior number 1, Alyssa Kraus. A senior number 2, Abby Hamill. A junior number 3, Eden Shaw. A senior number 4, Katie Reiner. A sophomore number 5, Lola Caruso. A senior number 6, Audrey Sanger. A junior number 7, Sawyer Gallivan. A sophomore number 8, Bella Mangata. A sophomore number 9, Eva Hottefuel. Senior number 10, Bettina Kreiman. Junior number 11, Michaela George. Junior number 12, Vivi Kritzer. Senior number 13, Christina Mashtaler. Senior number 14, Josie Tucker. Sophomore number 15, Xiaowei Ku. Sophomore number 16, Clara Binney. Sophomore number 17, Zoe Antebi. Junior number 18, Sophia Mitchell. Junior number 20, Savannah Bond. Senior number 21, Mariel Wardell. Senior number 22, Eva Mesher. And a sophomore number 23, Grace Marchand. Head coach of the Newton North High girls soccer team is Brian Leighton. So that's the roster for Newton North coming into today. Now let's take a look over on the left side of the field here, wearing their signature blue jerseys with white outline jersey numbers. Let's take a look at the Brookline High Warriors. Going in order of jersey number once again, first off we have a freshman, number 1, Paige Hammond. Next, a sophomore, number 3, Jada Kimbrough. A junior manager, number 4, Ashley Cherwin. A junior co-captain with 1 goal and 2 assists on the season thus far, number 5, Vilena Chernichev. Oh, it looks like we're getting ready to get this one underway very soon. And so I think I'm going to run our intro video. From Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts, it is Brookline against Newton North. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Soccer. Kick through, finds its target, freeze! There's the whistle, shot is in! Sends a leading pass, crashing, Leslie! Scores! All right, looks like we got the captains meeting at midfield as we get ready to get this one underway. The Wi-Fi looks a little shaky, but overall strong here at Skyline. You know, sometimes the weather, sometimes the crowd can impact the Wi-Fi, and sometimes Skyline just, you know, likes to make me nervous. But overall, I think it's good. But if anyone notices that it's not good, please let me know in the live chat. I am recording this while streaming it, so if it gets really bad, I can upload a fully recorded version later tonight. But in the meantime, since we got a little more time, let's finish out that Brookline roster. Last I mentioned was Vilena Chernichev. So next on the list for Brookline, a freshman with 2 assists on the season thus far, number 7, Haley Ament. A freshman, number 8, Juliana Siegel. A junior with 1 goal on the season thus far, number 9, McKenna Hammond. A senior captain with 2 goals on the season, number 12, Amra Ukamadu. A sophomore, number 13, Julia Vianello. A sophomore, number 14, Mirabelle Kesselman. A junior, number 15, Babette Hall. A junior, number 16, Nora Shu. A sophomore with 1 assist on the season, number 17, Lila Cannon. A junior captain with 1 goal and 1 assist, and one who just recently announced her commitment to continue her soccer career at the college level at Dartmouth, number 18, Anna Leshley. A junior captain with 2 goals on the season so far, number 19, Sydney Freeze. A sophomore, number 20, Amalia Lindgren Palm. A junior, number 21, Greta Radke. A freshman, number 23, Jameson McGee. A senior with 1 goal on the season so far, number 24, Emma Eisenhower. And the 2 goalies for Brookline this season, a junior, Julia Cherwin, and a freshman, Chloe Price. Head coach of the Brookline High girls soccer team is Ben Peters. So that is the full roster for Brookline. Like I said, some big news on the commitment front as junior co-captain Anna Leshley announced her commitment to play soccer for Dartmouth College after she graduates. So that's pretty big news in the Brookline soccer realm. Wi-Fi appears to be acting up a bit. I expect it to stabilize itself as we go, but again, if it doesn't, please let me know in the live chat, or if you notice any other technical difficulties in the live chat, or if you notice me flubbing anyone's names, either on Brookline or Newton North side, I encourage you to correct me in the live chat. Or if you simply want to say go Brookline or go Newton North, or shout out your favorite player, or tell us where you're tuning in from, that can sometimes be fun. Whatever your reason, we encourage fan engagement on these streams. So Brookline going to be starting from the left, Newton North from the right. Looks like Newton North going to get the opening possession to start this one off. Very sunny today. It might be tough at times for me to see, although the camera should capture things pretty well. But we are underway. It's Brookline against Newton North girls soccer. And a quick steal for Brookline. McKenna Hammond knocked away out of bounds. And we are going to have the game's first corner kick in the opening seconds. Great forward pressure from number 9, McKenna Hammond. And you can see the crowds gathering here at Skyline. Going to provide some difficulties with visibility down at the ends on the near side, both sides. But for now, not a huge crowd, and we can see that Brookline's number 16, Nora Shue, setting up for the corner. And it comes low kick, kicked away by Newton North, but it's going to go right back to Shue, who kicks it back into the box. It's headed and saved by the Newton North netminder. Big save for the Tigers. And a nice punt down the far side as the Tigers now swap fields and go on the attack. A crosser just misses its target and is kicked away by Brookline. Working up the far side, I believe this is Sydney Freeze, passing to the middle to Vilena Chernychev and sending it back to I want to say Babette Hall, who sends it forward to Anna Leshley. Now to the outside, I believe, to Mirabelle Kesselman. I'm doing some guesswork here with the sun in my eyes, but I believe I'm getting things right so far. This pass taken by Julia Vianello, sent to the outside to Haley Ament. Ament recorded her first career varsity points against Wellesley last week with a pair of assists in the 3-2 win. Long pass just out of reach for Hammond, kicked away by Newton North's number 20, Savannah Bond. Now the ball controlled by Amra Ukamadou. Ukamadou scored her second goal of the season against Wellesley last week. Every single one of her goals so far this season has been in games where I wasn't there, unfortunately. So hopefully I'll get a chance to capture an Ukamadou goal before the season ends. Anna Leshley was fighting through. An attempted clear is knocked away by Sydney Freeze and knocked out of bounds by the Newton North defense. Good hustle from both Leshley and Freeze. Throw in for Brookline. This is Chernychev. Chernychev sends a crosser towards the box. It's downed by Newton North and booted away. I believe that's number 9, Eva Hottefuel, A bit hard for me to tell on the sun. Long leading kick for Newton North's number 7 racing with Vianello. Vianello disrupts it and keeps it from going out the back line, and it doesn't even go out of bounds. Great defensive hustle by Julia Vianello, who has taken a big leap forward in her defensive game here in her sophomore season as she disrupted Sawyer Gallivan on that play. Ament sends a pass up to Emma Eisenhower. Eisenhower's kick mistimed, and it's kicked away by Bond. Kicked back forward by Kesselman up to Chernychev. Taken away from Chernychev, recovered. Passed to the outside to Hotefuel. Knocked away by Ukamadou, recovered by Eisenhower. No foul called. Passed up to Hammond. Hammond keeps with the ball, sends it to the near side to Ukamadou. Ukamadou dribbling in, winds and fires, and it's punched away by the goalie. That's going to be another corner. Can you tell who's the goalie for Newton North? Brookline setting up for another corner here in the early minutes. As again, Nora Shue setting up to take it from the near side. Couple of nice early saves from the Newton North netminder, Alyssa Kraus. As she had that great point-blank save off the header. Kick comes in, deflects, and is walled by the Newton North defense. Kicked back out. Ament takes it, turns to the near side, passes it back out to Shue. Shue sends it across, bouncing along. It winds up at the feet of Freeze. Freeze dribbling against defensive pressure, trying to gain the edge. Turning back around, sends it back out to Eisenhower. Eisenhower shoots, and it's caught by Kraus. Another save from Alyssa Kraus. By my count, she's got 3 already. Brookline testing the Newton North defense early as this one goes off the head of Leshley down the far side. Hammond trying to keep it in bounds. Fighting against the defense. It's knocked out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. Throw in. Controlled, I believe, by Freeze. Freeze turns around, sends crosser towards the box. It's going to bounce over everybody. Ukamadou couldn't chase it down before it went out the back line. That's going to be a goal kick for Newton North. Simply taps it in. I believe that's Bond sending a pass. Knocked away by Ukamadou. Kenna Hammond fighting for it, but walled off by the Newton North defense. Good use of numbers there by the Tigers. And now this one knocked out of bounds. Throw in for number 10, Bettina Kreiman. Lifts it high, and chasing it down are the Tigers. And the crosser walled off by Vianello, attempted by number 18, Sophia Mitchell. Hotefuel throws it in. Finds Gallivan. Gallivan crosses off the head of Leshley, downed by Kreiman. Kicked forward, misses Gallivan, and Ament kicks it out of bounds. Throw in, bouncing along, and booted away by Babette Hall. Knocked down by North. Controlled, knocked back. Passed back forward by number 23, Grace Marchand. Booted up in the air, off the bounce. Going to be taken out of the air by the netminder, Julia Cherwin. Cherwin rolls it in for Ament. Ament working up the near side, kicks it up the line, off the head of Hotefuel. Now off the head of Eisenhower, bouncing into open space. It's going to be taken by the Tigers. I think that was number 19. Either 18 or 19, a bit hard to see there. There is no number 19, so it must have been 18, Sophia Mitchell. Throw in for Brookline now, going up the far side. This is Freeze controlling it. Pass back. Kick forward to Chernychev. Chernychev for Freeze. Freeze tries to give and go back to Chernychev, but it's cut off. Sent up the far side by Newton North. Kicked back by Hall. Brookline passing in a bit of a triangle here. Sent up the line to Freeze. Freeze sends it forward to Hammond. Hammond steps back, now sends a pass across. Leshley sends it further across to Eisenhower. Eisenhower dribbling with it, sends it up, and Leshley deflects it into the air, but that's just going to bounce harmlessly into the box, or it can be scooped up by Kraus. Kraus punts it off the head of Leshley. And Gallivan disrupts it from Ament and starts going up the near side. Gallivan sends a pass forward for Mitchell. Mitchell knocked away by Leshley, recovered by Ament. Pass up to Leshley, back out to Ament. Ament back to Leshley. Leshley, leader for Ukamadou. It's a race for the ball, but Ukamadou doesn't have the leverage and could not catch up anyhow. It's kicked out of bounds by Kraus, as it was Katie Reiner, number 4, who chased that ball down. Awaiting the throw-in from Ament. And they're going to say it's a throw-in violation against Brookline, so this will give the ball to Newton North. Throw in, up the line, gets to Gallivan. Gallivan kind of slices it, and now it's knocked out of bounds by Ament. Another throw in to Gallivan, but this time Gallivan loses it out of bounds, and it will be Brookline ball. Ament throws it in for Ukamadou. Ukamadou dribbles, weaving through traffic, sending in a crosser, but nobody is there, and it's caught out of the air easily by Kraus. Kraus punts it, bouncing along, popped up in the air by Mitchell. Bouncing, it's taken by Gallivan. Gallivan pass back. Pass to the far near side, intercepted by Ukamadou. Ukamadou taps it for Chernychev. Pass back to Leshley. Leshley lifts it out to the far side. Disrupted, knocked out of bounds by Marchand. Throw in. Tapped back to Chernychev, who spins, gets a bit of an opening. Now taps it to the middle for Eisenhower. Eisenhower, long pass up, finds Ukamadou. Ukamadou fires a shot, but didn't have the angle, and it's saved by Kraus. She was disrupted just a bit by the defense of Eva Hottefuel. Now this one's punted, bouncing out of bounds. Once again, if any fans from either side catch me mispronouncing any names, I encourage you to correct me in the live chat. Newton North was working it forward. It was knocked back, but then kicked across midfield. And it's going to roll out of bounds. Shu throws it in for Hall. Hall pass across to Vianello. Vianello sends it up the middle. Now a pass to the near side misses. Ament was too high for her to down, and it goes out of bounds. And I realize now the far side wing defender for Brookline is Nora Shu and not Kesselman. I kind of made an assumption there, and that was my mistake. My apologies. Now that kick gets disrupted. Deflects into open space where Mitchell taps it back. Reiner kicks it forward over to Hottefuel. Hottefuel dribbling. Now passes out towards the near side to nobody. Ament trying to box her out and just let it roll out. It does not roll out. They're scrumming for the ball, and I think we got a penalty called against Newton North, and this is going to be a very weirdly placed free kick for Brookline. I know it's a bit hard to see with the fans, but Ament kicks it up to Leshley. Leshley up to Chernychev. Chernychev somehow sends it through to Leshley. Leshley fends off the defender, keeps dribbling, still going across midfield, now sends one up to Ukamadou. Ukamadou trying to lead for herself, but Reiner comes in and kicks it away. The double team of Reiner and Hotafuel has been containing Ukamadou along the near side early in this one. Quick throw in for Brookline. Chernychev sends it down the near side to Ukamadou, trying to gain the edge. Ukamadou tries to send one into the box, and it's kicked away. Chased down by Hammond. Hammond passes it back to Ament. Ament kicks it towards the middle, knocked away by the Newton North defense. Recovered by Vianello. Vianello dribbling through, got some space. Sends a pass across to Chernychev, who taps it forward, but nobody there, and it's taken off one hop by Kraus. The Brookline offense testing the Newton North defense, but the Tigers holding firm. Tigers have only allowed 2 goals through their first 5 games this season. Brookline only has one of their 5 games where they've allowed less than 2 goals in a single game. So 2 very stylistically different teams, at least so far early in this season. Brookline very strong on their offense, but struggling a bit on defense. Newton North riding their defense to the strong record they've got so far. Disrupted through the middle by Leshley, and Freeze sends it back to Leshley, who sends it up for Chernychev. Chernychev boots one up. It's downed by Reiner, and then controlled by Mitchell up to Gallivan. And then Hotafuel sends it forward. Corralled by Vianello. The kick goes off the head of Gallivan, and Hotafuel takes it. But taken away by Ament. Ament collides with Gallivan, and it's lost out of bounds. Marchand throws it in, goes over everybody, and Vianello chases it down, lifts it up, downed by Kryman, sent towards the middle, pass disrupted by Brookline, and kicked away by Hall. Up to Hammond it goes. Hammond to the outside to Freeze. Freeze working up the far side. Freeze dribbles around a defender. Freeze racing upfield, sends one through to Hammond, offsides. And we've got a timeout called, I believe, by Newton North. No score here in the first half of this Bay State Conference ball game between local rivals Brookline and Newton North. And again, we see the tendencies that these teams like to lean on. Brookline applying a lot more forward pressure, getting a lot of aggressive chances at the net. But Newton North riding the strength of their defense and just kind of biding their time. Again, the Wi-Fi misbehaving out here at Skyline. It's usually very strong out here at Skyline Park. But it appears to be getting pretty bad, and I don't fully know why. Just hoping it recovers. Either way, I am recording this whole thing as Newton North comes out of the timeout for the goal kick. It's downed by Brookline, but then booted upfield by the Tigers, stopped by Hall. Hall kicks it forward, finds Chernychev. Chernychev pass back to Shu, further back to Hall. Hall sends it all the way back to Cherwin. Cherwin to the near side for Ament. Ament back to Vianello. Now across, that's Hall. Now out to the far side for Shu. Shu kicks it up the line. Deflects away from Freeze and out of bounds. It'll be Newton North ball. Throw in off the head of Leshley. Upfield, it's kicked back by Newton North. I think that was Eva Mesher, number 22, but I'm not sure. Recovered, passed back, kicked forward, and it's going to be scooped up by Cherwin. Cherwin rolls it into Hall. Hall sends it upfield, almost intercepted, merely knocked away by Newton North. Brookline keeps the ball. Passing around, they send it up the line to Sydney Freeze. Freeze dribbling fast across midfield. Freeze still with it. Freeze gets around another defender trying to gain the edge, but it's disrupted and knocked out of bounds. That will be a corner kick for the Warriors. Sydney Freeze showing a great burst of speed up that far side. As Brookline going to rush the corner kick in. I think this is Ament winding up, firing, and it sails over the bar. So an interesting formation as they brought Ament all the way out to the far side as she's been operating as the near side wing. But couldn't get something going there. Substitution for Newton North, number 17, Zoe Antebby, into the game, replacing number 7, Sawyer Gallivan. Goal kick for Newton North, headed back forward by Brookline, kicked away by Reiner. Headed forward again, this time by Leshley. Ukamadu corrals the ball, but it's lost and knocked away, recovered now by Marchand, sent forward, and it's going to bounce out of bounds, and it will be Newton North ball. Marchand throws it in, or doesn't. It bounces right back out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. Quick throw in from Ament to Eisenhower. Eisenhower pass misses Chernychev, and it's taken away by Mitchell. Mitchell dribbling with it. Disrupted by Chernychev, but Mitchell recovers, sends a pass forward. Now a pass to the middle and a kick, and not enough on it, and it's taken off one hop easily by Cherwin. Cherwin gives it to Hall, who sends it up to Leshley, who sends it out to the near side to Ament. Ament forward to Leshley. Leshley dribbling against forward pressure, passes it across to Hall. Hall stops, looking, now pops a kick forward to Ukamadu in some space. Ukamadu now taking off, building speed. Ukamadu racing upfield. Ukamadu bouncing to the outside, now crossing back. Gets around her defender. Ukamadu fires and sails it over the bar. Some fancy footwork from Amra Ukamadu, but it's not enough. And this will be another goal kick for Newton North. Reiner with the goal kick. It's stopped by Ukamadu. Ukamadu pass gets away from Eisenhower, taken away by number 5, Lola Caruso. Now this kick goes up, taken by Vianello. Vianello dribbling, pass deflects, but it's chased down by Leshley. Leshley racing upfield. Leshley trying to break through. It's left for Chernychev. Tap back for Leshley. Leshley sends it to the outside. Hammond, crashing shot is saved. Didn't have an angle. Kraus takes it easily. Again, some great offensive pushes from Brookline, but Newton North has stymied them all. Throw in to Hammond, pass back to Shu, kick towards the middle. That's Chernychev. Chernychev dribbling against 3 defenders and somehow escapes and gives herself space to pass it across to Leshley. Leshley dribbling, passes to the near side to Ament. Ament cutting towards the middle. Pass to Chernychev. Chernychev trying to spin off defenders, and she gets taken to the ground. That's going to be a penalty against Newton North, and this will be a very interesting opportunity for Brookline as they set up for a free kick with a pretty decent angle and at a pretty good distance to keep away from the potential defensive wall. Chernychev setting up to kick this one. We'll see if they go for just a straight-up shot or if they try and cross something high into the box. Shot in! Vilena Chernychev puts Brookline on the board first. Let's take a look at the instant replay. As she just winds up, kicks it. Beautifully placed rainbow right at the top of the net. And Brookline takes the 1-0 lead as Vilena Chernychev registers her 2nd goal of the season. That one lost out of bounds. An early lead for Brookline against a team that has only allowed a score in 2 of their 5 games so far this season. Just a very well-placed shot, as you saw in the instant replay. And now having subbed in, Mirabel Kesselman gets walled off by Kryman. Kryman dribbling, sends a pass, misses, taken away by Ament. No time wasted. Newton North trying to push more now as they trail by 1. Leshley passes it up to Ukamadu. Ukamadu working against Marchand, trying to gain the edge, and Ukamadu gains the opening. Ukamadu crosser deflects, but not enough off that deflection, and it's going to be taken off a hop by Kraus. Kraus up in the air. Off ahead, and they're going to call Chernychev for over the back as she kind of had to jump up on the shoulders of one of the Newton North players. I mean, honestly speaking, Chernychev is one of the shorter players out on the field. So in order to get high enough for a header, she kind of has to jump on someone's shoulders in a play like that, and that is, of course, illegal. Reiner takes the free kick. This time off the head of Chernychev. As I stand kind of corrected, she does get a header without jumping on someone's shoulders that time. Brookline passing it all the way back to Cherwin. Cherwin's got to get rid of it, and it is deflected out of bounds off of Newton North. That'll be a goal kick, as it was, I believe, I want to say Gallivan. No, it was number 3, Eden Shaw, who almost stole a goal off Cherwin there. as she was taking a little too long. Shu kicks it upfield, deflected by Hammond, but now a race to the ball is won by the Tigers. Passed back to Reiner, kicks upfield, downed by Chernychev, recovered, I want to say by Kryman, sent to the outside and lost out of bounds. Oh no, I think that might have actually been Mitchell. Substitution coming in for Brookline, number 17, Lila Cannon, replacing Amra Ukamadu. Ukamadu throws it in for Leslie. Shu threw it in for Leslie. Leslie was dribbling with it, stolen away. Long leading kick downed by Ament. And Ament kicks it up now to Chernychev. Back to Hall. Hall fends off Chan, passes to the outside to Shu, but stolen away from Shu. Hall recovers, though, and knocks it out of bounds. And they call a penalty on Newton North for the trip after Hall cleared it out. After Hall kicked to clear it out of bounds, but she got tripped up while the ball was still in play, and the penalty is called. Brookline takes the free kick, sends it to Shu. Shu walled off, stolen away. Pass intercepted by Leslie. Leslie sends it up. Chernychev barely managed to tap it forward. Cannon fights through a defender to corral the ball. Chops it out to the near side to Hammond. Hammond tried to chip it for Kesselman, but couldn't. Now Cannon keeping up the forward pressure, but it's booted away by, I believe, Marchand. Now a kick back forward up to Hammond. Hammond on the near side, taps it, but not there. Stolen away by Marchand. Marchand sends it up, but Ament walls off the Tigers player, Zoe Antebi, and draws a penalty. Kesselman setting up to take the free kick. She boots it towards the box, bouncing along, and almost a chance, but it's cleared out. Dribbling forward is Eva Mesher, who sends it forward. Dribbling with it, and a pass misses Cha, and it's knocked out of bounds by Shu. Brookline had a couple players crashing towards the net on that free kick from Kesselman. Very good chance there, but Kraus just barely managed to fight through to get a hand on the ball and at least knock it away so her fellow defenders could kick it away. Off a couple heads. Now kicked forward by Freeze. Now popped up in the air by Mesher. And we got a push called against Newton North. That'll be a free kick for Brookline, as I believe that was Krayman. Pass to Vianello, now up to Leslie, now out to Ament on the near side. Ament up to Leslie. Leslie a bit hard on the kick. Ament chases it down, keeps it in. Forward to Kesselman, and that pass too far for a give and go with Ament. It's going to be out of bounds. Newton North ball. Sub coming in now for Newton North. Now we got a sub now for Brookline, it appears, as Leslie is subbing out. And they are sending out number 1, Paige Hammond. Number 21, Mariel Wardell, waiting to throw this one in. Thrown in, downed by Hammond, popped up in the air. Cannon trying to fight against Reiner. She gets the ball, pass for Hammond. Hammond gets tangled up with Wardell, but recovers the ball briefly. But it is knocked away by Antebi, kicked forward finds Cha. Cha sends it out to the far side, where it's going to be chased down by Shu. Shu sends it up the line, tapped back to Shu. Shu trying to fend off some forward pressure from the Tigers. Sends pass back to Hall, who pops it up in the air, goes off ahead. Knocked down, and penalty call against Newton North. Free kick coming from Hall, simply passes across to Vianello. Vianello dribbling up the middle, kicks it out to the near side to Ament for Hammond, but it's cut off by Reiner, kicked back up, and it goes all the way up to Cha, but is knocked away by Vianello. Vianello racing up the near side. Vianello gets stood up by Wardell, who takes it away. Pass to the middle, finds, oh, that's Eva Mesher. Now a pass across, it's sent forward. Race for the ball, kept in bounds by Newton North, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Newton North, it'll be a goal kick. Goal kick simply given to Hall, sent out to the far side to Shu. Up the line. Knocked away from Amalia Lindgren-Palm, who just subbed in. Now Hall knocks this one out of bounds, and it'll be Newton North ball. Another sub for Newton North. Again, a very sunny day with the sun kind of setting right in our faces here at Skyline. Throw in. Deflects back and forth, taken by Brookline. Pass forward for Chernychev, but couldn't keep with it. Off several deflections. It is taken by Brookline, kicked upfield, knocked away from Cannon. Lindgren-Palm tried to end it somewhere, but it's taken away. Pass back, now kicked forward, intercepted by Ament. Now sent out to Hammond. Hammond dribbling, taps it to the near side and lost out of bounds. Still 1-0, the Brookline lead off the goal from Chernychev. Wrestling for it. It's Mitchell. Mitchell sends it forward out of the sea of defenders, and it is chased down by Ament. Ament trying to box out against Antebi. It's knocked out of bounds. This will be a Newton North throw-in. Passed back to Wardell. Wardell trying to fend off the pressure from Hammond, and Wardell slices that one well wide of the net, and that's going to bounce out the back end for a goal kick. Sherwin just going to leave it for Hall. Pass out to Shu on the far side. Shu working it upfield. Pass up to Lindgren-Palm. Pass to the middle. Nobody's there. And it's chased down by Cha. Cha turns around, pass, gets to Antebi. Antebi disrupted on the shot by the defense from Ament, and it's going to be scooped up by Cherwin. Cherwin, short punt up to Hammond. Hammond couldn't keep track of it. It's taken away. Pass back to Wardell. Pass up, disrupted, taken away by Kesselman. It's recovered by Hammond. Hammond racing upfield. Hammond tried to send a pass, but couldn't get it through the legs of Reiner. Hammond recovers, passes it back to Chernychev. Chernychev gives it to Kesselman. Back to Chernychev. Chernychev spins and dribbles back. Sends it back to Hall. Hall struggled to fight against the forward pressure, but manages to get the pass away to Shu. Shu gets a favorable deflection along the far side. Now sending a leader for Lindgren-Palm. Lindgren-Palm walled, but recovers, and walled again. I believe that was Savannah Bond, but now it's kicked back in, and it's going to miss wide and out the back. That'll be a goal kick. 4 subs now coming in for Newton North. Among them, I do see Sawyer Gallivan checking back in, and I see number 13, Christina Mash-Taylor. Goal kick from Reiner, knocked down by Lindgren Palm towards the middle, where it's booted away by Wardell. Kicked away by Hall, taken by Paige Hammond, who sends it up to McKenna Hammond. Hammond couldn't fend off Wardell. It's taken away. Kicked forward by Reiner. Now taken by Ament. Ament lost out of bounds. It'll be Newton North ball. Wardell throws it in. Misses. Taken away by Vianello. And they call the trip on Newton North, and it'll be a free kick for Brookline. Ament turns around and sends it back to Vianello, who sends it across to Hall. Hall sends it up the middle for Kesselman. Kesselman gets a pass up to Chernychev. Chernychev trying to keep with it against the double team. Still dribbling with it. Has to move backwards. Just manages to recover the ball enough and send it back to Vianello. Vianello across to Hall. Forward to Chernychev. Now up to Kesselman. Kesselman fighting against multiple defenders. Managed to send one up. Wardell had it for a second, kicked away by Hammond, but recovered by Newton North. But now disrupted by Chernychev. Kicked back by Reiner. Over the head of Hall. She misjudged that one. Shu trying to back her up, and she gets it out of there. Pass up to Lindgren Palm. To the middle, intercepted. Back to the outside. That kick walled, recovered by Paige Hammond. Hammond sends it out the far side. Lindgren Palm couldn't get there first, knocked away by Bond. Newton North now bringing it up the far side. Pass disrupted by Paige Hammond, kicked away by Shu. Now kicked back, taken by Hall. Hall pass back to Vianello. Gallivan applying forward pressure. Gallivan with a shot, and it's caught by Sherwin. Big forward pressure from Sawyer Gallivan, and that's probably been the best offensive chance Newton North's had so far, but couldn't get enough on it. Chernychev gets tripped up, and the penalty is called. It'll be a free kick for Brookline. Kesselman launches a long kick towards the box, and that's just going to sail way long and wide and out of bounds. Goal kick is deflected away by Kesselman. McKenna Hammond trying to race after it, but can't get there in time. Out of bounds, Newton North ball. Throw-in goes off ahead, out of bounds, Brookline ball. Ament throws it in to Hammond, tapped back out to Ament, back to Paige Hammond. She sends it across to Shu. Now further back and across to Vianello. Now out to Ament. Ament dribbling, kicks it forward, knocked down. Now Newton North takes it back and a trip, but they get ball first, no call. Recovered by Hall, and she sends it back to Sherwin. Now out to Vianello. Vianello out the near side to Ament. Ament forward to Kesselman. Kesselman dribbling with some space. Kesselman still dribbling, met by Reiner. Kesselman gets around Reiner, and I believe it should be out of the box. And I think we're going to see a card here. Or maybe not. The officials are discussing. Oh, that's what they were discussing, was the clock. And there is no time on the clock. It is halftime. As the official explains to the fans, the only exception that would have allowed for an untimed play would have been a penalty kick. And since that penalty occurred just outside of the box, it was not a penalty kick, and therefore the half came to an end right there. So that is our score going into halftime. Brookline 1, Newton North 0. Brookline getting the score off of this free kick goal from Vilena Chernychev pretty early in the half. As we watch it back again. Again, just a beautiful shot there by the junior captain for her second goal of the season. That's the only score so far. And during this halftime intermission, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight, and I'd like to tell you about the Brookline Education Foundation. The Brookline Education Foundation raises funds to help promote growth and innovation among Brookline educators, growth that can then be passed on to the children of this community. For over 40 years, this foundation has given out a variety of grants across the educational landscape. These include Idea Lab grants for teachers that want to present their students with new and exciting projects, and teacher grants for educators that want to further develop their own skills to bring to the classroom. Many initiatives which have become staples in the public schools of Brookline started as BEF grants. They support literacy education training, new methods in STEM education, project-based learning, mentoring of new principals and superintendents, and collaborative work around diversity, equity, and inclusion, just to name a few. Visit brooklinefoundation.org or call 617-232-3846 to find out how you can help support our town's educators and, through them, our students. Once again, that's brooklinefoundation.org or call 617-232-3846. And as always, you can see all that information about our local charity spotlight down in the description section down below. And also down below, you can see the link to the Venmo account for the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club if you would like to support the Brookline High halftime. Brookline 1, Newton North 0. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan at Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts. I'm going to take a break off the mic and mute it so you won't hear my voice for a little bit, but I will be back with the second half of this game. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to the action. Back on the mic, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan coming to you live from Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts. Here to bring you the second half of today's high school varsity girls soccer contest between local rivals Brookline High and Newton North High. Warriors against the Tigers here in Brookline. The home team Warriors with a 1-0 lead off a beautifully shot goal from Vilena Chernichev off of a free kick. That we got to see on replay a couple of times. My first varsity girls goal to be shown on replay since I implemented that feature starting last week. And now the two teams have switched sides. Brookline going to get the opening possession, and here we go. McKenna Hammond sends it back to Anna Leshley. Leshley sends it out to the far side to Haley Ament. Pass goes up to Emma Eisenhower, but stolen away by the Tigers. Passed back to Eva Hottefuel. Long kick up, taken by Julia Vianello. Quick pass out to Ament, and then sent to the middle to Leshley. Pass sent back, and it's controlled by Nora Shu. Pass up for Vilena Chernichev. Stolen away, but then kicked away by Shu. Now recovered by number 11, Michaela George, but wrestled away by Sydney Fries. But more scrumming for the ball. It's kicked out into open space. Crosser towards the middle. Knocked away by Vianello. Recovered briefly, and then knocked away again. That was number 22, Eva Mesher, with the attempted crosser there. Now a long kick from Newton North, deflected and downed by Eden Shaw. Now kick towards the middle. Fries boxes out George and chases down the ball. Fries, leading pass for Leshley. Leshley runs out of room and takes a hard push in the back. And they're going to call the penalty on Newton North. It'll be a free kick for Brookline. Leshley boots it towards the middle. Down for a second by McKenna Hammond. Instead, it's going to be recovered by Chernichev. Chernichev taps a pass over to Hammond. Hammond looking, passing forward for Amra Ukamadou. Ukamadou couldn't fend off the defense from behind, but she chases down and recovers that ball. But she gets grabbed from behind, and it's another penalty against Newton North. Pretty good distance for a free kick here from Brookline. We saw them get a score from a similar distance in the first half. It looks like they've got Haley Ament setting up to take this one. So they might be trying for a crosser into the box. Lifting in, punched away, and an offside's called anyway. It was well defended by the Newton North netminder, number 1, Alyssa Kraus. But offsides was called against Brookline regardless. And so this will be a free kick for the Tigers. Katie Reiner sends it out to the near side to Savannah Bond, then forward to George. A couple passes, and Mesher couldn't keep it in bounds. It'll be Brookline ball once again. Throw in to Leshley, tapped forward. It bounces along. Hammond almost had it, but instead it's taken by Bond. Hammond, though, forcing it away, kicking towards the middle. Eisenhower's got it. Eisenhower passed, but Ukamadou slipped and fell, and it was out of her reach anyhow, and it's kicked away by Mariel Wardell. Babette Hall chased it down and kicks it back to Julia Cherwin. Kicked away, and George kicks it forward for Mesher. Mesher knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be a corner kick for Newton North. Corner kick coming for the Tigers. I think that's number 10, Bettina Kramen, who is taking the corner kick. Kick into the box, knocked back out. Wardell turns and fires, and oh, deflected high and over the bar. Oh, that might have just bounced in. I don't think Brookline could even see it through all that traffic. but the attempt on the redirect ended up backfiring and sending it over the crossbar. So Brookline with a lucky break defensively there as they are now trying to clear this ball out. String of passes gets it out to Ament on the far side. Now a kick back towards the middle, and Hall sends it up the middle to Chernychev. Tapped over for Eisenhower. Now pass intercepted by Wardell. Wardell a long kick up, chased down by Hall. Hall, pass back to Cherwin, now up to Shu. Shu's pass deflected by Cha, but it is chased down by Freeze, given to Shu, who leads it back for Freeze. Freeze sends it to the middle, intercepted by Crayman. Crayman sends it forward for Mesher down the near side. Mesher tries a crosser, walled off by by Hall, excuse me. Hall dribbling, pass to the middle to Chernychev. Chernychev's got some space. Lifts a long leading kick. Ukamadu trying to race after it, but it's too far. And it's going to be scooped up by Kraus. Kicked forward, deflects up in the air. And now Newton North pushes it forward. Eden Cha trying to race after the ball. Cha being followed by Ament, and Ament chases it down and boots it out of bounds. Good recovery defensively by Haley Ament to prevent Cha from getting that one down the edge. Throw in coming for Newton North. Throw in off a head, off a foot, gets up to Ukamadu. Ukamadu racing upfield. She's got a couple steps. Ukamadu now being met by Reiner. Ukamadu trying to dribble around. Ukamadu knifing her way through. Ukamadu kick is too low, didn't have enough on it, and it's taken easily by Kraus. Rolled in to George. Pass disrupted by Freeze. Deflects right over to Leshley. Leshley charging in. Leshley working around a defender. Tries to send a pass forward, but miscommunication on the cut. And it's going to be scooped up by Kraus. I don't think Ukamadu would have been able to cut that way anyhow without going off sides. Kraus punts it. Taken by Eisenhower. Tried to tap it forward, but it's knocked away. Now disrupted by Hall, who came way back out, but now Cha pushes it forward to Mesher. Mesher sending it forward for Gallivan. Gallivan spinning off her defender. Gallivan fires and misses wide. Good hustle by Sawyer Gallivan, who has been providing some steady forward pressure for the Tigers all day, but she just really didn't have the angle that time, as she just barely got an inch off her defender. Eisenhower now out to Ament, back to the middle, gets to Leshley. Leshley dribbling with some space to work. Still going, passes forward to Chernychev, who stops it. Now pops it out to the far side to Ament, bounces past her. She thought she was going to be able to down it with her body, but couldn't. Ukamadu keeps it in bounds, but it's stolen away by the Tigers. Now a kick walled off by Ukamadu, out of bounds, Newton North ball. Throw in. Knocked loose, but recovered by Newton North. Sent up the far side. Slide tackle knocks it to the ground. It's going to be out of bounds, or it might have been a penalty on Brookline. Either it might have been a violation for touching the ball while you're still on the ground. Either way, looks like a free kick for Newton North. Mariel Wardell to take this free kick. Kick, bounces into the box, and it's going to be taken off one hop by Cherwin. Rolled in for Leshley. Leshley fakes out a defender, dribbles towards the middle, pass forward, finds Hammond. Hammond taps it to Chernychev, pass up to Hammond, misses, but gets to Ukamadu, but Ukamadu stood up by Wardell. Kick intercepted by Leshley. Leshley Kicks it forward to Chernychev. Chernychev spins off her defender. Now tries to send to the outside, but knocked away. Chernychev recovers, but nowhere to pass. It's intercepted. Kicked away by the Tigers, but again taken this time by Eisenhower. Knocked away from her, recovered by Hall, sent forward to Leshley. Leshley dribbling against Kramen, gets around, sends one forward to Ukamadou. Ukamadou dribbling, tried a shot, walled off by the head of Wardell. Scrumming for the ball, and Ament wins the battle against Mesher. Ament going around the far side, knocked out of bounds by Wardell. Ament throws it in, deflected into the air by Leshley. Sliced into the air, I think, by Reiner. Down briefly by Chernychev. Chernychev tried to turn around, but too many bodies there. Attempted clear, intercepted by Freeze. Freeze dribbling, trying to get around Bond. Going for the edge. Crosser! Rolling through! Still rolling through! And it's going to roll too far, but it's chased down by Ukamadou. Ukamadou touches through for Leshley. Leshley spins off her defender, fires, and sails. Even with the 1-goal lead, Brookline not letting off the gas offensively as they are keeping up the pressure against the Tigers. Goal kick sent out to the far side, gets away from Mesher, out of bounds. Ament throw in for Eisenhower, back to Ament, towards the middle to Leshley. Leshley turns around, sends it back to Hall. Now out to Shu. Shu forward to Chernychev. Chernychev forward, but nobody there. Intercepted by George. Kicked forward, it goes off the head of Chernychev and off the head of George and off the head of Freeze. Bouncing forward, it's kicked up in the air. Bouncing along. Shu chases it down and passes it back to Hall. Hall sends it all the way back to Cherwin. Cherwin sends it up the far side to Ament. Ament racing. Pass to the middle to Eisenhower, who tried to give and go, but nobody was there. Taken away by the Tigers. Mesher passes forward, but Shaw is not going to get there in time as Vianello was outpacing her, and it rolls out of bounds anyhow. Ament throws it in, kicked forward, out of bounds. Newton North ball. Throw in, deflected, now kicked into the box. And off a hop, it's taken by Cherwin, just slightly misjudged by Gallivan as it went over her head. Cherwin punts it towards midfield, deflects the wrong way off a Tiger defender. Reiner's got to chase it down and boot it out of bounds. Throw in to Leshley. Leshley tried to send it forward, but couldn't. She just ran out of room, out of bounds. Newton North ball. Throw in. Pass to the middle to Eisenhower. Now further to the middle to Chernychev. Lost her footing, gets back up, stays with the ball, fighting with Gallivan. And now multiple Tigers defenders, and she couldn't win the numbers game, but she recovers it somehow and gets it back to Leshley. Passed over to Shu, now to Freeze, quickly to Eisenhower, leading for Freeze. Freeze racing after it. Freeze working up the near side. Pass to the middle. Leshley takes it. Leshley, crosser, walled off, out of bounds, corner for Brookline. Brookline showing some brilliant ball movement today as they've maintained a consistent offensive pressure, even though they've only netted 1 goal. They're setting up Ament to take the corner for the Warriors. Into the box it goes, and it's Headed away by the Tigers, but right back to Ament. Ament lifts another crosser. It's off ahead, still in the box, downed, attempted clear, deflects into the air, and it's going to bounce out of bounds. Brookline ball. Hard collision between Kraus and one of the defenders between hand and head. Throw in goes to Ukamadu. Pass back to Leshley. Leshley around her defender, dribbling in, gets stood up by Crayman. Crayman pass forward, intercepted by Vianello. Vianello dribbling forward. Vianello fighting through. Vianello tripped up, but not cleanly. Another free kick setting up for Brookline. Chernychev setting up again. She got a goal off a very similar situation in the first half. Are they going to give her the green light to shoot again? Shot comes in low and deflects and rolls out of bounds. Goal kick. Couple subs coming in for the Tigers. Reiner kicks it. Kicks forward. And Eisenhower takes it away, passes it back to Vianello. Further back to Hall. Hall. That was a weird bit of confusion around the ball, and it's kicked away by Hall. I'm not even sure what happened there. That was weird. Throw in. Leshley fighting, and they call the penalty on Newton North. You know, I said there was no love lost between the boys' teams when these two schools faced off in boys' soccer over the weekend, and it's coming through very physical again here in the girls' game. Kicked away by Bond. Freeze chases it down, taps it back for Shu. Shu lost track of it, but manages to keep with it. Shu dribbling, pass for Freeze. Freeze running out of room, slips and falls. Battling with Bond. Freeze turns around, crosser, bounces through, misses everybody. Brookline's had a few of their crossers just miss the intended targets. Chernychev deflects that back to Leshley. Leshley fires, rolls wide. Good judgment by Kraus on that play. But again, Brookline continuing the pressure. I mean, you'd expect the ball to be heading over to the Brookline end a lot more often, but Brookline is just keeping up with their offensive pressure, and Newton North trying to rely on their defense. High, it's taken by Freeze. Freeze fakes, now passes for Shu. Shu fakes around a defender, gets around another. Shu, crosser! Kicked away, well defended. I believe that was Wardell who knocked that one away from McKenna Hammond. Vianello fights for the ball, gets it up to Leshley, who sends it back to Ament. Ament stood up, and more wrestling for the ball. Penalty on Newton North. It's Bay State Conference play. If you're not expecting a physical game, I don't know what you're expecting to watch. Ament setting up for the free kick. Here's the kick from Ament. Sliced. And now headed away by the defense. Controlled by Shu. Shu pops it up in the air. And caught out of the air off the bounce by Kraus. Chernychev was crashing to the net. but Kraus well played. Punt. Corralled by Freeze, sent back to Shu. Shu from behind, stolen away by Gallivan. Gallivan charging in with Cha, leads for Cha. Cha fires, and it's caught by Cherwin. Some of the best offensive movement Newton North has shown today on that play with Gallivan and Cha. But now Brookline moving it the other way. This is McKenna Hammond. Could not out-wrestle Bond, and it's kicked away up to Mitchell. Mitchell kicking it forward, knocked away by Shu. Chernychev, tap back for Leshley. Leshley with some space, dribbling, tripped up from behind, penalty called. No scoreboard clock here, so we can't exactly say how much time is left in this game as Brookline sets up for another free kick. Babette Hall setting up to take this one for Brookline. Pops it up in the air, off the head. Knocked down, Eisenhower, shot walled off by Reiner. Now recovered by the Tigers. And a pass for Mitchell. Mitchell racing forward. Turns around and sends it back to Marchand. Marchand working it up the near side, sends a leader, but that's going to be way too far, and that's going to roll out the backside for a goal kick. Substitutions coming in for Brookline, number 17, Lila Cannon, and number 14, Mirabel Kesselman. They replace McKenna Hammond and Vilena Chernychev. Couple passes deep in their own end, and that pass deflects off Leshley's body. It's taken away by the Tigers. This is Mitchell. Mitchell gets a pass back. Crayman sends a high one, and that one is in. Bettina Crayman ties it up off the assist from Sophia Mitchell. And just like Brookline's goal, it was a beauty sent to the top of the net. Credit to Mitchell as she was falling down, playing physically against the Brookline defense, and just barely got that pass away, and then Crayman just launched a beauty of a rainbow shot to tie us up at 1 apiece. Kesselman dribbling with it. It's out of bounds, Brookline ball, as it was knocked out by the Tigers. Kesselman, quick throw into Leshley. Very different game now with a tie score. Leshley sending one forward for Ukamadou. Ukamadou trying to gain a step, but she's cut off by Wardell, and it's kicked out of bounds by Reiner. Brookline, quick throw in for Ukamadou. Ukamadou fighting in the corner, turning around, gets around a defender, gets around another, tries a kick, it's deflected, and it's going to be scooped up off the ground by Kraus. Tie ball game, 1-1 here in the second half. Throw in. Couple deflections out of bounds. Brookline ball. Ament throws it in for Leshley, who kicks it upfield immediately. Walled down and kicked away, I believe, by Wardell. Now that kick, walled off by Leshley, goes out of bounds. Newton North ball. Throw in. And it's knocked away by Vianello, taken by Eisenhower, pass to the near side to Freeze. Freeze, dribbling, sends a long leader for Cannon, but it's cut off. Oh, but the defender stumbles, but it is recovered by Bond. Passed across to Reiner, who pops it up in the air. Kicked back by Shu, up to Freeze. Freeze deflects with Marchand. Which way is it pointing? Brookline ball. Throw in to Freeze. Kicked forward and kicked out of bounds by Marchand. Another throw in, bounces past a couple people, and Bond boots it away. Hall kicks it back. It's going to roll up to Ukamadu. Ukamadu dribbling down the far side, trying to gain the edge on Wardell. And it is lost out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Newton North. Only really the officials know how much time we got left in this one, as we are currently knotted up at 1 apiece. Goal kick from Reiner. Off the foot of Ukamadu, now booted forward by Wardell, bouncing, deflected by Vianello, and now Vianello taps it over for Shu. Shu up the nearest side to Freeze. Freeze battling with Marchand, dribbling towards the middle, met by Mitchell, knocked loose. Marchand kicks it up to Cha. Cha to Mitchell. Mitchell taps it back for Marchand, sent forward to Crayman. Crayman back to Bond. Bond forward to Mitchell. Mitchell passes it back to Reiner. Reiner upfield, bouncing along. Vianello tries a kick. It's walled off by Cha, but Vianello takes it back. Vianello racing upfield. Vianello still going. Vianello gets walled off, and that's either out of bounds or a penalty. Either way, Brookline possession. Looks like Brookline setting up for a free kick to be taken by Ament. Or is it? No, it's going to be taken by Kesselman. Kesselman had that big boot in the first half from near midfield that flew all the way to the net but bounced wide of it. Now boots this one, shallower towards the box, off ahead, downed. Eisenhower, pass to Leshley. Leshley fighting through. Leshley tripped up, but they got all ball, and it's kicked away by Bond. Cleared out to the Brookline end, chased down by Hall. Hall kicks it out of bounds. We got substitutions coming in for both teams now. For Brookline, I see Velena Chernychev returning to the field. For Newton North, one of them is number 11, Michaela George. George throws it in. Cha deflects it down. They meet at the ball, and Freeze comes away with it. Freeze dribbles through a couple. Sydney Freeze moving upfield, met by Bond, trying to dribble through. Freeze gets through, passes to an open Ukamadu. Ukamadu met by Wardell, and it's knocked away again. What a defensive day by Mariel Wardell. Newton North trying to fight up the edge, cut off by Ament, out of bounds. Brookline ball. Quick throw in goes to Eisenhower. Eisenhower boots it up in the air, headed away by the Tigers. Pass from Anteby goes to the middle. Now pass back to Crayman. Crayman out to the far side, knocked away by Ament, but knocked right back by Crayman. Now Hall boots it across midfield. Cannon downs it. Cannon trying to fend off Bond. Couldn't. Knocked loose. Taken by the Tigers. Pass to Crayman. Now out to the far side to, I think, Lola Caruso. Sent forward. Now sent back. Another pass forward. This is to Cha. Cha lifts one into the box, and it's going to be taken off one hop by Cherwin. Cherwin punts it. Downed by Ukamadu, rolls back to Eisenhower. Eisenhower forward, misses Cannon, booted away by Bond. Now the Tigers trying to work it upfield. A long leading pass, but nobody there. And that's simply going to roll out of bounds. Looks like it went out the back end and will be a goal kick for Brookline. Another sub coming in for the Warriors. Checking out Emma Eisenhower. Checking back in is Anna Leshley. And brief mistake there on the goal kick. And Cherwin just kicks it to Hall, who passes over to Vianello. Back to the middle to Hall. Hall back to Vianello. Vianello forward to Leshley, tapped to the outside to Ament. Ament dribbling towards the middle, now sends it forward. And it's deflected out of bounds, Brookline ball. Quick throw in for Leshley, tapped back to Ament. Ament sends it forward, walled off. Leshley boxes out, gets the ball, passed back to Ament. Ament kicks it upfield. Booted away by Reiner. And out of bounds, Brookline ball. Throw in. Pass from Vianello back to Ament. Ament upfield. Out of bounds, Newton North ball. Throw in up the far side. I think that's it's been hard to tell who it is, but it's knocked out of bounds. It'll stay Newton North ball. Back. Now kicked in towards the box, headed away by Vianello. Ament boots it upfield. This is Caruso kicking it back. Taken by Kesselman. Kesselman taps it forward for Chernychev. Chernychev sends it out to the near side to an open Freeze. Freeze dribbling. Against George. Trying to gain the edge now. Running out of space. Trying to cut back. She's double teamed. Somehow gets around. Crosser booted away by Reiner. And it's going to bounce out of bounds. Brookline ball. And another, I think a timeout was called by Brookline that time. One to one the score here in the waning minutes of the second half. And it's going to be interesting to see what strategy Brookline might come out of the timeout with. Brookline has been generating the majority of offensive pressure throughout the day, but Newton North took advantage well of a mistake in the back end by Brookline as either an attempted pass or clearing kick ended up bouncing off the body of a Brookline player, which allowed for that extra attack for the Tigers, which they took full advantage of with the goal by Bettina Crayman off the assist from Sophia Mitchell. For Brookline, their lone score came in the first half Velena Chernychev scored unassisted off the free kick. Both goals coming with similar types of kicks, just, some beautiful rainbow shots that the goalie really didn't have much chance of stopping. Chernychev's second goal of the year has her in a tie for the team lead in goals with Amra Ukamadou and Sydney Freeze. We come out of the timeout now. Does either team have a hero among them today, or are we going to end in a draw? Nora Shu to throw it in for the Warriors. Into Cannon, deflects back to Shu. Shu fighting off several defenders. It's knocked out of bounds, Newton North ball. George throws it in, taken back by Freeze. Freeze dribbling towards the edge once again. Starting to dribble in, stops, crosses to Leslie. Leslie, it was a little too high, and now it's booted away by the Tigers. Off the head of Shu, off the head of Leslie. Bouncing around, kicked away by the Tigers. Leslie deflects it, but it's collected by, I believe, Crayman. Long pass forward. Knocked away by Vianello, taken by Leslie. Leslie spins around to get some space. Taps it to the near side to Shu. Shu forward to Freeze. Pass now to Leslie. Give and go to Freeze. Freeze charging in. And it is going to be a corner. Haley Ament. No, it's a bit hard to see with this Skyline crowd. Ament setting up for the corner. In it comes. Headed away by the Tigers. Shu chasing after it. Pass out to Ament. Ament sends a pass through. Misses. Kicked away by Newton North. Gallivan with it. Tries a pass. Cut off by Ament. Ament deflected away by Gallivan as both Gallivan and Ament got tangled up. No call either way. Hall fakes, dribbles forward, passes up to Shu. Shu up to Freeze. Tap to the middle. Misses Chernychev. Attempted kick by Antebi Waldoff. Now gets it up, goes off of George out of bounds. Shu throws it in to Cannon. Cannon sends it to the outside to Freeze. Freeze charging in again. Sydney Freeze crashing. Crosser deflects. Misses. Kesselman was crashing on that one, but well deflected by the Newton North defense. And they get the favorable deflection. It'll be a goal kick. Reiner lines up for the goal kick. Up in the air, off ahead. Now booted up in the air by the Tigers. And now taken by Ament. Pass to Chernychev. Now to Leslie. Now forward to Cannon. Cannon tries to tap one to lead for Chernychev. Too far, kicked away by George. Recovered by Shu. Shu dribbling forward. Shu deflected away from her and booted upfield. Taken back by Leslie. Passed all the way back to Vianello. Vianello back to the middle to Leslie. Leslie takes off. Sends one forward to Chernychev. Chernychev sends a leader trying to go through for Leslie, and Leslie misses wide. Substitution now checking in for Newton North, as that was some beautiful ball movement from Brookline, but the kick just missed. As they sub out Caruso and sub in Cha. Reiner, another goal kick. Upfield, deflects down, taken by Leslie. Leslie charging in again. Weaves around a defender, gets tripped, and that's another penalty call. That juke move from Leshley has been drawing penalties all day. Brookline trying to set up for the free kick. This is relatively close. They're going to have Chernychev take this. Chernychev scored off one free kick earlier today. Kick floats in. Caught by Kraus. Kraus punts it forward. Slided down by Chernychev, but booted upfield by Newton North. Race to the ball, and it's Shu. Shu kicks it back to Cherwin. Cherwin's pass deflected out of bounds. Brookline ball off the pressure from Eva Mesher. Shu throws it in up the line. Freeze. Kicks it towards the middle, goes off the head of Crayman. Booted upfield by Leshley. It's a race for the ball between Bond and Cannon. Bond's going to get there first and kick it out of bounds. Brookline racing upfield. They want to get another attack off before the triple whistle. Throw-in goes to Leshley. Leshley turns around, dribbles towards the middle. Tries to send one through, gets it through to Chernychev. Chernychev sends it over to Cannon. Cannon fires, saved by Kraus. Again, great ball movement by Brookline, just can't quite finish. And what a day for Alyssa Kraus between the pipes. Bouncing along off the head of Vianello. Ament corrals it. But it's knocked away. Very physical between these two players. That's got to be a penalty on somebody, and it's going to be against Ament. And we've got a Newton North player down hurt. That is Eden Shaw, who is struggling to put weight on one of her legs. The officials saying 49 seconds on the clock here, so neither team has a lot of time, but Newton North might get the last best chance with this free kick off the penalty. Reiner setting up to kick it as Cha looked like she had a bit of a limp as she came off the field. Hopefully that's nothing serious long term. Newton North still leaving a couple of defenders back as this one's kicked into the box. Off a bounce, it's taken by Cherwin. Cherwin runs up and punts it. Upfield it bounces, downed by Reiner. Reiner kicks it forward. Newton North trying to generate something again, but it's intercepted by Leshley. Passed forward to Cannon. Cannon turns around, tries to pop it out the far side, intercepted by Wardell, but taken back by Chernychev. Pass back to Kesselman, up to McKenna Hammond. Hammond gets stood up, out to the outside, and it's a deflection out of bounds. It'll be Brookline ball. Quick throw in from Ament. They've got seconds left. Hammond trying to fight up, and it's out of bounds again. Brookline ball again. Ament throws it in. Kicked away, out of bounds. And there is your triple whistle. And so after all those battles, it ends in a draw. The final score here at Skyline Park, the Brookline Warriors 1, the Newton North Tigers 1. And so Brookline moves to 3-2-1 on the season. Newton North to 3-0-3. And what a battle that was. You can always count on an intense contest taking place whenever Brookline and Newton North face off in anything, as I said before, and that proved absolutely true. Brookline got the opening score early in the first half off a free kick goal from Vilena Chernychev, her second of the season. Newton North managed to tie it in the second half off a goal from Bettina Kramen, assisted by Sophia Mitchell. Well, that is going to do it as we take one last look at Brookline's lone score of the game, the first half goal by Vilena Chernichev as she set up from a nice spot on the free kick and simply sent in a rainbow. And it was a similar score for Kramen as it was another rainbow shot that just found the top of the net perfectly. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. I got plenty more Brookline soccer on the docket. In particular, this weekend, we've got some varsity games coming up for both boys and girls. The girls will be on the road against Newton South this weekend. Newton South, of course, the team that Brookline got their thrilling 3-2 comeback win against here in Brookline. Now they'll be playing against them in Newton. That should be a good game. Be sure to stay tuned for all that and more. Subscribing to the channel can help. If there's anything you'd like to say and the stream is already concluded, you can say it in the comment section down below. Also, be sure to go down below to the description section of this video for, first off, the link to the Venmo account for the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club, and also for a link and phone number to our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Education Foundation. If you go further down in the description section, or if you just check out the bottom right corner of your screen, you can see some more information about me. The URL to my personal website, jessesports.com. You can find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or if you want to skip all that, you can email me directly with any questions or requests you may have. And be sure to follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that's going to do it. Brookline 1, Newton North 1. From Skyline Park in Brookline, Massachusetts, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.